Part 16. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 154. As some insignificant awards were issued, the people in the audience gradually became a little impatient. It is true that the two hosts' jokes were really interesting. But they did not forget the purpose of coming to this annual meeting. Where can't they eat? All the people present were well-known cartoonists, who were already high-paid people in the comics industry, and they were also high-paid people in terms of social salary comparison, so they came to the annual meeting to see Miyobi. As a result, Miyobi has not been seen for so long. When some people first came, they wandered around casually and did not find anyone who fits the prototype of Miyobi teacher. In addition to the little girl, there was only Zhang Xinran, a female master, at the main table. The others were all old people, and naturally did not fit the image of Miyobi teacher. So many people gradually whispered, and some people even speculated that it might be that Miyobi teacher did not come. Of course, although they said so, Tencent Comics claimed that Miyobi teacher came, so although they were impatient, they did not show it on the surface. The people of Yuyeokai hope that Miyobi will not come. Then maybe no one will say anything after the annual meeting, but when everyone goes back to their own homes, they will definitely start to bitch on the internet. So the people of Yuyeokai hope that Miyobi will break the appointment, and they will be happy if Tencent Animation is unhappy. Okay, after issuing some awards, I guess everyone is looking forward to it based on my many years of experience as a host. Liao Qing smiled slightly. The next award is a heavyweight, the Best Newcomer of the Year award. It's coming. When the name of this award came out, many people were shocked. And some people looked at Jiao Mo and found that the other party's smile was very forced, and even a little bit gnashing his teeth, but there was nothing they could do. According to convention, as long as the champion of the Newcomer Award is generally won, the Best Newcomer of the Year award must be the champion of the Newcomer Award. After all, they are both linked to newcomers, and one is the Newcomer Award competition held, and the other is the Newcomer of the Year award. But, this year, as we all know, what is the most important thing for an industry? That is fresh blood. Only a steady stream of emerging talents can support an industry and achieve the goal of keeping the talents of this industry from being sluggish and continuous. As far as I know, there is a very powerful newcomer rising this year. Very powerful? How powerful? You know Book of Life and Death and Your Name, right? I remember you are a fan of these two comics. Of course, I am a fan of Miyobi teacher, and I heard that Miyobi teacher is only 17 years old, but I didn't see anyone who fits Miyobi teacher's profile in the entire venue. Will Tencent Animation stand us up, or will Miyobi teacher be dissatisfied because of your name and break the appointment? Liao Qing, you are out of touch with the news. I have internal information that Tencent Animation will hold a press conference in a few days to report on the follow-up of your name. When these words were spoken, the cartoonists in the audience were surprised. Although they also knew that Tencent Animation stopped the update of your name, it should be Tencent Animation's action, but since a press conference is to be held, it is probably a big move. Zhang Xinran at the front table was also curious. Editor Zhao, what will happen to your name later? Others were also curious. You know, your name is more influential and popular than Zhang Xinran's breakup 100 days. Yuyeokai thought it would be suppressed forever. As a result, Tencent Animation actually let them go, which made people very curious. Everyone will know in a few days. Zhao Jing smiled mysteriously, then looked at Susiener who didn't know what she was thinking, and smiled slightly. Mr. Miyobi proposed a very novel creative genre, so Tencent Animation plans to give it a try. If you refuse directly, I won't ask. Isn't it teasing when you say that? Yes, Xiao Zhao, can't we tell it? I promise Xinran won't tell you Yuyeokai. If she tells us, we will scold her on Weibo. Zhang Xinran smiled bitterly and said, you just like to make trouble. Zhao Jing smiled bitterly again and again. This, you will know in a few days, masters, please don't embarrass me. Am I presenting the award to that Saori Asada? Susiener suddenly asked Zhao Jing next to him, which made Zhao Jing stunned for a moment, and then answered, yes, the award for you was presented by Miss Saori Asada, which was also her own request. Miss Asada said she is your loyal fan. Then what's the matter with the finale just now? The finale performance after the award ceremony. Zhao Jing smiled, it can be regarded as a closing show. It's almost 8 o'clock now. After the subsequent awards, there will be a performance. It will be basically 9 o'clock, and then we can end the show. Susiener's eyes sparkled and a smirk appeared at the corner of her mouth. Then, we would like to invite this year's annual newcomer, the pioneer of the new style of comics, the author of Book of Life and Death and Your Name, and the 17-year-old beautiful girl cartoonist Miyobi teacher. Please welcome her with applause. When Jing Chu spoke passionately with the help of the microphone, the extremely warm applause came halfway through his words, which shocked Liao Qing next to him secretly. The cartoonists didn't care. Some of them were already looking forward to seeing the true face of teacher Miyobi. They were staring at the podium. Susiener stood up without saying anything and walked straight to the podium. What the hell? No way. Is it really her? Is it really that little girl? Oh my god. Ah, the brain is shaking. My day. When Susiener walked onto the podium, all the cartoonists' jaws dropped and their eyes widened. Even the two hosts on the podium were stunned. They didn't know what teacher Miyobi looked like before. They only knew that she was a 17-year-old beautiful high school girl. As a result, they were stunned as soon as Susiener came on the stage. This delicate and cute little girl is teacher Miyobi? Teacher Miyobi, Jing Qi reacted very quickly. He looked at Susiener and called out tentatively. It's me. I didn't expect teacher Miyobi to be so cute. Liao Qing looked at Susiener with bright eyes, never expecting that the girl in front of her was a 17-year-old girl. Teacher Miyobi, I am your fan. Just when the two hosts on the podium were about to speak, a person in the audience who didn't know if he was a cartoonist couldn't help shouting. This shout seemed to cause a chain reaction. Teacher Miyobi, I am your crazy fan. Teacher Miyobi, I love you. Your Highness the Princess, the branch leader of the Knights is here to report. In an instant, the scene became chaotic, leaving the two hosts dumbfounded and Zhao Jing a little at a loss. Just now, it was fine. Why did Susiener become like this as soon as she came on stage? And what happened to the second grader's speech? Thanks to you for shouting? Just talk about it online, but in reality you are still shouting? Awkward or not? Susiener was also confused because she had never seen such a formation before. Wow, go to sleep and ask for recommendation votes. I've seen everyone's QQ messages, so I won't reply to them one by one. I haven't been able to access QQ for the past 2 days, so I'd better save someone who is mentally retarded and add me as a friend. Thank you RBQS for your comfort Owo. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 156. 5 minutes ago. Captain, our Italy, are we really going to do this? Nonsense, don't forget that we are members of the Princess Knights. Wouldn't this be too childish? An older boy said worriedly. We haven't found the Miyobi teacher yet, and if there is a commotion, my uncle will probably beat me to death. Don't worry, my uncle will beat me to death too. The younger but passionate boy clenched his fist and said, we are here, and Tencent Animation has confiscated our phones. Isn't this a rip-off? I promised to live broadcast and take photos in the group, but now I can only cancel it. Tencent Animation held an annual meeting and originally did not intend to collect phones. Because this reason doesn't make sense and will also cause people to be disgusted, after all, everyone is an adult. But Saori Asada didn't want to reveal the news that she was in Shanghai, and Tencent Animation considered that if the Queen was exposed, the other party's Shanghai fan club would definitely flock to it, so it would not be occupied by the other party's fans at that time. Moreover, this annual meeting is the annual meeting of cartoonists, and it cannot be reversed. So Tencent Animation will make it clear when sending invitations that if you come, you have to hand over your mobile phone to Tencent Animation for safekeeping. Of course, the mobile phone will be distributed and guarded by security guards, and privacy will not be pried. This made several fans of Miyobi Teacher unhappy. They came with their relatives, but their mobile phones were confiscated. Isn't this a pit? Just when the hot-blooded boy, Xuelin, was about to encourage, he suddenly felt a pat on his shoulder. Looking back, it was a young man. Seeing him turn his head, he swayed and put on black-framed glasses, and then slowly said, "Go." Xuelin was stunned, and then reacted, "Bullshit." The two people next to him were confused. "What's going on? Why is it so violent? It seems to be you." "I didn't expect you to be so young." Seeing that the code was accurate, Lin Yu smiled and said, "I am the head of the third group." When Tencent Animation told Susiener that she would attend the annual meeting, some fans in Shanghai whose relatives were cartoonists and were invited naturally wanted to come. So several of them followed. "By the way, you guys are not the only ones coming," Lin Yu asked curiously. "What do you think? Stupid. Don't you know that one invitation can bring two people in?" Xuelin and the other two were stunned, and then they looked regretful. "I don't know." Lin Yu said helplessly, "Forget it, then there are only 5 of us now." "Yeah. After all, Tencent Animation only invited more than 100 cartoonists, and Xuelin felt that it was already very good to get 5 fans together." Lin Yu had a headache. What can 5 people do? And now they don't know which one is Teacher Miyobi. If they knew, they would go directly to Teacher Miyobi to take a photo and ask for an autograph. Now, let's do this. Let's just make a noise. It would be best if we can get these cartoonists to join us in making a noise. Lin Yu's eyes turned, and he thought of an idea that coincided with Xuelin's. "Then, we invite this year's annual newcomer, the pioneer of a new style in the comics industry, the author of Book of Life and Death and Your Name, the 17-year-old beautiful cartoonist Miyobi Teacher. Please welcome her with applause." As a result, before he started talking, Lin Yu and others heard the host's voice. In an instant, all the thoughts of making a noise were thrown out of their minds. The 5 people looked around the podium without blinking, wanting to see who would go on stage. Then, they saw a delicate and cute little girl go on stage. "Oh my God," Lin Yu propped up his black-framed glasses and said in amazement, "Is this Miyobi Teacher? Miyobi Teacher, I am your fan." As soon as Lin Yu finished speaking, Xuelin saw this, and his blood rushed to his head and he became excited, and he shouted directly. They had been speculating what Teacher Miyobi looked like. Some people even thought that although she looked beautiful in the live broadcast room, they only saw her for a short while. But perhaps it was because of the short glimpse that everyone thought Teacher Miyobi was beautiful. Maybe Teacher Miyobi was an ordinary girl, otherwise why didn't she show her face? Although the fans have always been dismissive of such remarks, they can't produce any evidence, so they can only admit defeat with blushing faces every time. There is no way. I haven't seen Teacher Miyobi, and I don't have the confidence to argue with the other party. And this time I finally saw her. Lin Yu was startled when he heard Xuelin shouting next to him, and then he was shocked. Wouldn't shouting like this alert the snake? As a result, before he could say anything, the cartoonists who heard this couldn't help but shout, which made him confused. Lin Yu naturally didn't know that as long as people have idols in their hearts, they will have idols. As netizens, cartoonists don't like singers and movie stars, or they are the kind of people who don't have idols, until Susiener appeared. Changed the style of the comics industry, created a new style, and various styles made everyone find their own way out. So Susiener became the idol of cartoonists. No matter who Susiener had criticized before or who looked down on Susiener before, they had to admit Susiener's contribution to the comics industry. In addition, Susiener's mystery in the past made many people curious about her. Why did all the cartoonists come to attend this annual meeting, even if their mobile phones were confiscated? This is the reason. They just wanted to see their idol, but after Xuelin started it, everyone couldn't help it. Miyobi teacher, I am your crazy fan. Miyobi teacher, I love you. Your Highness, the Knights Division leader is reporting. Is this okay? Lin Yu was dumbfounded. He didn't expect that there were people from their group among the cartoonists, and there was also the Princess Knights Division leader, which made him feel confused. Then he looked at Xuelin, whose face was flushed, looking at Susiener obsessed, which made him, who always claimed to be a crazy fan, feel ashamed. Everyone, please calm down. Jing Chu on the podium was not the first time to see this phenomenon. After all, they had seen many people who were fanatical about chasing stars, but he didn't expect that the comics industry was also popular with chasing stars. Seeing the cartoonists who were originally sitting stand up one by one, he was sweating coldly. Everyone, please calm down. Just when the two hosts hadn't thought of a solution, Zhao Jing came to the podium, took Liao Qing's microphone, and smiled. It seems that everyone is a fan of Teacher Miyobi. I didn't expect everyone to be so enthusiastic about Teacher Miyobi, but it seems that your enthusiasm has scared our Teacher Miyobi. The people in the audience looked at Susiener next to Zhao Jing, and saw that the other party looked confused, and calmed down at this time. After all, Teacher Miyobi is a high school student. Although they are fans, if they scare the other party and make Teacher Miyobi unhappy, it will be putting the cart before the horse. Thinking of their own identities, they all sat back in their seats in shame. Just now, they were completely hot-headed and followed the rhythm of the first person who shouted. After all, the atmosphere will affect people's thinking. Seeing this, Zhao Jing breathed a sigh of relief. How about this? It seems that everyone likes Teacher Miyobi so much. Let Teacher Miyobi hold a small autograph session after the show. Can we take a photo together? Xuelin shouted when he heard it. Upon hearing this, everyone turned to look at Xuelin, which made Lin Yu and others beside him feel very embarrassed. On the contrary, Xuelin raised his head and looked at Susiener with sparkling eyes. Then we have to ask Teacher Miyobi. Don't even think about it. Susiener rolled her eyes. God knows what these guys will do with the photos. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 157. The decisive and ruthless rejection disappointed many people. Everyone, please understand Teacher Miyobi, Zhao Jing said with a smile. Teacher Miyobi is only a high school student now. If it is exposed, it may affect the college entrance examination. What if Teacher Miyobi is angry and doesn't draw comics? Hearing this, everyone smiled knowingly. They woke up. Although the Teacher Miyobi in front of them was petite and cute, with a delicate figure and a double ponytail like a little girl of 12 or 13 years old, she was actually a 17-year-old college entrance examination candidate. If the exposure really affected the other party's academic performance, it is estimated that Miyobi would not say anything, and they would be sprayed to death by the other party's fans. After all, fans are not rational creatures. Seeing that everyone had calmed down, Zhao Jing smiled and said, "Then, if everyone has no objection, let's continue the award ceremony." After saying that, he handed the microphone to Liao Qing and returned to the front table. As a host, it seems that I haven't done my job well. Teacher Miyobi, you are so popular that I am scared seeing this, Jing Chu joked. Although he was joking, he was very surprised in his heart. I didn't expect that a 17-year-old girl could be admired by so many people. That's right, Liao Qing said with a smile, then let's not talk too much. We have just been delayed for a while. Let's speed up the process now. However, the award for Teacher Miyobi is presented by a special guest. Before Liao Qing finished speaking, Susianer interrupted with a turn of her eyes. Wait. What's wrong, Teacher Miyobi? Liao Qing was stunned, and then asked with a smile. It's like this, Editor-in-Chief Zhao told me that the awards behind are almost all mine, so I want to sign for fans quickly. Can you give all my awards now? Puff. The cartoonists sitting below sprayed directly when they heard it. Although they knew that Susianer would have many awards, when this sentence came out of Susianer's mouth, they didn't know what to think. Before they became fans of Susianer, they were also cartoonists, so they were in a complicated mood at this time, but they did not suspect that Tencent Comics had a shady deal, because according to the experience of the cartoon industry in the past 6 months, the awards behind were almost all Susianer's. Zhao Jing, who had just sat down, also twitched his mouth. He didn't expect Susianer to do this. When Liao Qing heard this, his hands trembled, and then he smiled bitterly. Mr. Miyobi, the awards are given one by one, how can all be given to you? But I don't want to go up and down, it's very tiring. And the fans must be waiting anxiously, so let's finish the awards quickly. I'll finish signing quickly, I still have to go home to do homework. In an instant, Jing Chu and Liao Qing were speechless. Zhao Jing had just said that Susianer was a college entrance examination candidate, and now the other party said this. They really couldn't find a point to refute. The two looked at Zhao Jing. Although they were hosts, they had to follow the basic law. Susianer didn't play by the rules, and just disrupted the rhythm, so Zhao Jing naturally had to make the decision. What else can Zhao Jing do? At this time, he can only nod his head, because he is really afraid that Susianer will make a fuss. After all, it is better not to tease the willful little girl. Backstage. According to the time, it should be my turn to present the award. Asada Sayori sat in front of the dressing table and played with her mobile phone boredly, and asked the staff next to her. As soon as she finished speaking, she saw a staff member outside the door hurriedly running over and said respectfully, Ms. Asada, it's your turn to present the award to Teacher Miyobi. Okay, Asada Sayori smiled when she heard it, picked up the trophy prepared by the official for her, stood up, and saw the staff hesitant, not knowing what to say. Seeing this, she asked curiously, what's wrong? It's like this, Teacher Miyobi asked to present all her awards in one go. The staff looked painful. Puff, Asada Sayori couldn't help laughing when she heard it, she can really make a fuss. Then looking at the expression of the staff, Asada Sayori's mouth twitched. You officials won't agree. Agreed, the staff said helplessly. Well, Sayori Asada was convinced. She had participated in many major events, but had never seen such a weird award ceremony. She could only helplessly say, okay, give me all the trophies, I'll go and present the award to that little guy. Well, there are a lot of trophies, the staff member said embarrassedly. Ms. Asada, I suggest you find a few staff members to accompany you and go together. Sayori Asada frowned. Previous awards were all given to guests on stage alone. How can I be special when it's my turn? Although there were no reporters at this annual meeting, and even her mobile phone was kept, she didn't want to be talked about. It was because she was too famous that she had to be more cautious in such details. Ms. Asada, there are 8 awards for Teacher Miyobi. What? Sayori Asada was stunned for a moment, and then reacted instantly. She muttered with a bit of helplessness and a bit of laughter, it seems that this little guy wants to mess with me. She didn't need to ask, she could be sure that it was Susianer who did it. Tencent Animation's trophies are basically crystal trophies, which means they are heavier, and 1 or 2 are fine. Asking her to take all 8 trophies by herself, Wouldn't that be like asking her to die? She couldn't even carry them. And she had said before that she would be the one to present all the awards to Susienur. Now she was shooting herself in the foot. Then Asada Sayori was about to say that she would follow the staff's method, but she thought that Susienur must be resentful of her. After all, she had done that upstairs, so she thought for a while and said, "Well, since I have already agreed, I naturally cannot make special arrangements. You go find a larger award plate and put the trophy on it, and I will present the award to teacher Miyobi." This. The staff was stunned. They didn't expect Asada Sayori to really do this. Okay. Asada Sayori is a queen. If the other party wants to do this, she, a small staff member, has no right to make decisions. On the podium, Jing Chu and Liao Qing got Zhao Jing's permission and didn't bother about it anymore. Anyway, they could only take money to do things. Before receiving the invitation, many cartoonists present probably wondered who the special guest invited by Tencent Comics was. One thing we can reveal is that this special guest is also a fan of teacher Miyobi. Hearing this, Susienur curled her lips. We won't reveal this person. I believe everyone will recognize him when he appears. Then, please welcome the special guest. The two played a trick and didn't say the name. When Sayori Asada came out from the backstage with a huge award plate, everyone was stunned. Then, looking at the familiar face, everyone was speechless. The one who presented the award to Susienur turned out to be the queen of the music world, Sayori Asada. ZZ. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 158. Searched Can on Google. Half an hour later, Susienur sat on the chair on the podium with a depressed look on her face. In front of her were excited fans lining up. Zhao Jing was also afraid that she would be suddenly attacked by fans, so he also arranged 2 security guards nearby. There were 200 to 300 fans, and Susienur's hands were sore from signing. It also made her secretly decide that she would never hold any more autograph sessions in the future. After she finished signing, she felt that her hands were no longer hers. She shook her little hands twice, obviously feeling very sore. Zhao Jing sent her to the back door, while Asada Sayori was waiting here. Seeing this, Zhao Jing smiled and said, "You made a mess of teacher Miyobi's annual meeting this time. As compensation, when will you create a new one, comics?" At the small book signing event that was just held temporarily, Tencent Animation gave away a half-volume set of the Book of Life and Death to each cartoonist who came to the annual meeting. Of course, this is because the Book of Life and Death has not yet been completed, so naturally there is no second half book. However, although the Book of Life and Death is not over yet, according to Susienur, it is almost over, so Zhao Jing is naturally looking forward to Susienur's next comic. Susienur said contemptuously, "Say it again. You've made enough money, why do you still draw comics? Now is the time for a new life to begin, and it is time to retire from the world." Of course, before that, she had to think about finishing the book when she got back. After all, she had discovered before that these cartoonists seemed to be going astray. Although the style of drawing was normal, their thinking was still stubborn and they had to draw shocking books. "Then I won't send it away." Zhao Jing smiled when he saw Asada Sayori in front of him waiting. Susienur felt a toothache when she saw Asada Sayori. When the awards were just handed out, Susienur was chosen as the winner, so although many people were shocked, they all seemed calm. Of course, there is one key point, and that is the reason why many cartoonists do not chase stars. As for Sayori Asada, they also listen to each other's songs, but when it comes to admiring her, it's hard to say. But Susienur didn't care about this. She was very surprised when she found that the other party was holding the tray without shaking his hands. After all, those are 8 trophies, aren't they heavy? But when the other party awarded her trophies one after another, the cartoonists in the audience had weird expressions, which were very normal. This made her discouraged and convinced. I can only sigh that she is indeed a queen, she has a strong ability to withstand pressure. As a result, when she took the trophy, she found that it was very light. Upon closer inspection, she found that it was made of plastic. Susienur, who wanted to make a scene, could only look at Saori Asada with contempt when she thought that this was Tencent Animation's annual meeting. Unexpectedly, the opponent actually used plastic trophies to fool her. Although they were all replaced by real crystal trophies for her in the end, she lost this confrontation. Seeing Susienur slowly getting into the car with a reluctant look on her face, Asada Saori said angrily, "What? You haven't finished venting your anger yet." Hee. Susienur felt unhappy when she thought that the other party was going to her home. "Don't worry, I just got a call and I have to fly to Yanjing to take you home at this point." Asada Saori's eyes showed concern, but she did not show it, but smiled. "That's right, the bag next to you has 2 sets of clothes. Didn't I say before that you and Xiao Jingxi should dress up, take photos and sign them, and remember to mail them to me? The clothes are a meeting gift for you." Hearing this, Susienur was curious, picked up the bag and looked through it. Kimono, looking at the 2 exquisite kimonos, one red and one blue, they felt even more silky, obviously the material was unusual. "Of course," Saori Asada said proudly, "I made these 2 sets of kimonos myself." Oh! Hearing such a cold answer, Asada Saori was defeated, gritting her teeth and thinking about how to make the other party surrender. Then Asada Saori drove the car and kept chatting with Susienur without anything to say, but Susienur kept thinking about how to blackmail the other party's secondary creation rights back, so she ignored her. Unfortunately, there is no way to think of it. 10 minutes later, Asada Saori said goodbye to Susienur, who was carrying a bag. When she was about to drive to the airport, she saw Susienur trotting over again. "Sign your name for me." After being stunned for a moment, Asada Saori said with a look on her face, "It seems that my charm is quite strong." As he said that, he took the book handed over by Susienur and signed it with a swipe. Just as he was about to hand it to the other party, he heard Susienur continue, "Keep signing, finish signing this book." "Why do you want so many signatures?" Saori Asada's mouth twitched. "Your autographs seem to be selling for 20,000 each online, so I can make some extra money," Susienur said angrily. "You did that to me when we were in the hotel, and you still don't allow me to make some money. What have I done to you? Give me a hug and you want me to sign a book for you." Saori Asada signed 2 pieces, glared at Susienur and said, "Just 2 pieces, for you and Xiao Jingshu, no need to talk about the others. I have something urgent to do." Then seeing Susienur's unhappy face, Asada Saori pulled Susienur over, picked up her phone and took a photo with their heads together. Gan. Susienur, who was unexpected, was very angry. "Let's go first." Asada Saori smiled proudly, said, closed the car door, and ran away as fast as possible. It was obviously really urgent. Seeing that the other party really left, Susienur breathed a sigh of relief. She was really afraid that the other party would go home and mess her up. When Susienur returned home, she walked into Lin Jingshu's door and handed the bag and autograph to Lin Jingshu. "Your idol gave it to me, a kimono and autograph." Lin Jingshu was stunned for a moment, took the things, and blinked. "Didn't you go to the annual meeting?" "Yes." "Then how could there be Sister Saori's autograph?" "She is a special guest, and she came to the Tencent Animation annual meeting to eat and drink for free. You will know it when you read the news tomorrow." "What?" Lin Jingshu was full of regret when she heard it. She didn't expect Asada Saori to go to the annual meeting. "Is there a video?" "No, the mobile phone was confiscated by Tencent Animation for this point." Susienur strongly supports Tencent Animation. "If it can't be exposed, it will not be exposed. Not even a reporter." Lin Jingsha felt that life was hopeless. Seeing this, Susienner whispered, "If you knew she was a lesbian or a book lover, you wouldn't be like this." But she didn't let Lin Jingsha know about this. After all, if the other party knew, it would definitely be a blow. Although it is not the second half of the college entrance examination yet, we cannot let the other party's emotions fluctuate. "I'll go back to the room first." "Wait, let's wear this kimono first, it's so beautiful." Looking at the clothes in the bag, Lin Jingsha's eyes sparkled. "Let's talk about this later. I have something very urgent now." "What is it?" "Scold someone." "Who is being scolded?" "Of course, Chen Rui, the idiot. Give her secondary creation rights to Sayori Asada. If she doesn't scold the other party, Susienner will definitely not be able to sleep tonight. There is only one chapter today. I'm going to bed. I can't hold on." Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 159. I was wrong, Teacher Miyobi. At 10:30 in the evening, Chen Rui was ready to go to bed, but he received a call from Susienner. He thought the other party had something to do, such as the planning of the Your Name anime movie, whether it had been discussed. Or maybe there was a new plan to find him. After all, it was almost 11 o'clock, and it was impossible to call him at this time unless it was urgent. As a result, before Chen Rui could say anything, Susienner scolded him. If it was someone else, Chen Rui would have hung up the phone with a dark face, but when he saw that it was Susienner's call, it was indeed the other party's voice, and he could only bear it helplessly. As a result, he had to take the initiative to admit his mistakes without knowing what he did wrong. There is no way, now B Station still has to rely on Susienner to support it. Before Susienner, B Station was struggling to survive, with more expenses than income, and there were no profitable projects, so it was likely to go bankrupt. Since Susienner's song at that time attracted the attention of the public, although not many users stayed, there was still a small number of them. The subsequent revision of B Station, the appearance of the station girl and even the design of the web page were all due to Susienner, and the number of users was gradually increasing rapidly. Since the first episode of Susien series was launched on B Station, the traffic of B Station reached a peak for a while, which is why Tencent raised funds at a high price. The rapid development of B Station attracted the attention of some people, and Tencent decided to conduct valuation financing because of Susienner's identity as a shareholder of B Station and Chen Rui's disclosure of the plan of the virtual singer. Of course, there is another main reason, that is Book of Life and Death. Now the copyright of Book of Life and Death is all in the hands of Susienner, and the copyright of the animation has been handed over to B Station for production. Tencent Animation was severely criticized by the senior management for this. However, considering that the other party discovered the Miyobi teacher, the credit was offset. Considering that Susienner is a shareholder of B Station, it is estimated that it is impossible to hand over Book of Life and Death to them, so they can only pinch their noses and accept it. But for other copyrights, they must strive for it. After all, Bilibili is an act company and will not interfere in TV series and movies. Bilibili, which is currently producing the animation of Book of Life and Death, has a small-scale promotion before it starts production, so that the number of people on Bilibili increases linearly every day. After all, as long as the animation of Book of Life and Death comes out, Bilibili will be the first to release it. In addition, Bilibili also announced that Susienner is their shareholder. For Susienner's fans, since it is the company where their idol stays, they naturally have to stay. As a result, after staying for a few days, they were surprised to find that there was no GG when watching videos on Bilibili, and some small details were pleasing, which made many people like Bilibili. And Susienner has made a great contribution to the rapid development of all this. It can be said that the major directors now love and admire Susienner. Chen Rui is being scolded now, even if he doesn't know the reason, he has to admit his mistakes honestly. After admitting his mistake, seeing that Susiener seemed satisfied, Chen Rui said helplessly, "Miobi teacher, what did I do wrong that made you call me in the middle of the night to criticize me? Did you give the secondary creation rights of Sujug and 2233 to Asada Sayori? Is it because of this reason?" Chen Rui asked tentatively. "Nonsense. Otherwise, why would I scold you in the middle of the night?" Chen Rui didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Miobi teacher, in fact, it's not a bad thing to hand over the secondary creation rights. The board of directors had discussed before that as long as Sujug appeared at Asada Sayori's concert, after public opinion, Bilibili would release the software to the public, allowing everyone to recreate Sujug's music for free. After all, Bilibili is not an entertainment group. Except for Susiener, no one inside is a music genius or an arrangement genius. Therefore, after discussion, the board of directors decided that they were actually ready to release the secondary creation rights for free, allowing people who like Sujug to use the software to create music. This is a very novel idea in this world. After all, many people like to hold the copyright in their own hands, and no one will release the copyright to others. The right of secondary creation is also a kind of copyright. But in the previous life, this kind of situation has become commonplace. Let's not talk about the distant ones, let's talk about the near ones. V family. The Hatsune family, Luo Tianyi, etc. in it can allow people who like them to use software to create music, and then publish video websites for fans to listen and spread. And the distant island country in the previous life is also the same. Or the island country is more open in this regard, and the secondary creation is very loose. As long as it is really a large-scale business, the original creator generally does not care. Why were Kankali and Tuhao so popular in the previous life? Let's not talk about other reasons for the time being. There is a main reason, that is, there are many books, wide influence, and a large audience. The book occupies one of the main reasons. After the recreation of major fan cartoonists, Kankali and Tuhao became popular in the ACT circle. In this, fan creation occupies a great credit. Although Chen Rui didn't know these, since the board of directors discussed this point, someone proposed it. As long as you are not a fool, you will naturally know the amazing idea. So, it was quickly passed unanimously. As a result, when Asada Sayori came, the condition was that Sujug and 2233 had the secondary creative rights. Chen Rui and the others naturally agreed without thinking too much, since they would have to be announced by then anyway. After hearing this, Susiener's pretty face darkened, which retard made the suggestion. As long as Sujug appears, others will think of me. You give the secondary creation rights to others for free for recreation. If someone draws Sujug or what to do with the book of 2233. Let's not talk about it for now. Everyone knows that Jingshu and I are the actors in 2233. What will others think when the book appears? When Chen Rui heard this, he was stunned for a moment, and then he laughed dumbly and said, "Teacher Miobi, it turns out that this is the reason for you." The board of directors naturally considered this, so they only announced the Hatsune software, and kept other fan copyrights in their hands. Fans can only use software to recreate music, and fan comics are impossible. Don't worry, we still know this. Susiener was startled for a moment and asked suspiciously, then Asada Sayori only has the secondary creation rights of music. Miss Asada's contract is a complete second creation. Chen Rui paused at this and said tentatively, "Teacher Miobi, you don't think Miss Asada can draw your notebook, right? She is a queen, and she has the right to second creation. It belongs to her alone and cannot be handed over to anyone else except her. If Ms. Asada lets others draw fan comics, we can sue the other party." In Chen Rui's opinion, Sayori Asada should pay more attention to the right to recreate music, and probably won't pay attention to other fan comics or the like. When Susiena heard this, she sneered, and then told the other party the identity of Asada Saori Yuri's comic book cartoonist. Puff. Chen Rui was dumbfounded. Is this true? Go to Tencent Animation and search for the author's name, Lily Saigeo. Chen Rui turned on his computer and searched for it, and found that it really existed. Then he found out that the protagonist's name was Sayaka Asada, and the heroine was Susiena. He was speechless and choked for a moment, not knowing what to say. Who would have thought that a diva could be a comic book artist? This is so ridiculous. Did you see it? Susiena no longer had the energy to be angry and said feebly, is there any way to take back the secondary creation rights? Yes, as long as Sujug doesn't go on stage after a while. Chen Rui said these words, and then he seemed to have made up his mind and said, let's do it, tomorrow. I will talk to Miss Asada tomorrow. Never mind. Huh, Chen Rui was stunned for a moment. Give her the second creation rights. Susiena curled her lips. Sujug has been a plan that Station B has been brewing for a long time. It's already reached this time. If something goes wrong again, there's no telling when the opportunity will come. But she is not the one who suffers. Of course there is a price. Aren't my 20 shares still with you? You give them to me for free, and this matter is over. Susiena wanted to repay Chen Rui's money first. After all, the shares were still in the hands of the other party, but the Your Name animated film project was about to start, and she naturally wanted to invest, so she held off for a while, but the result came out. After this incident, Susiena naturally wanted to pursue the victory. If you don't take advantage of it, you are a bastard. Chen Rui smiled bitterly and said, okay, Teacher Miyobi, I will convene a board of directors tomorrow. As long as everyone passes it, the board of directors will help you with the shares. Chen Rui knew that the board of directors would definitely approve the discussion about Sujug. That's fine. After the two hung up the phone, Chen Rui made a call directly. Hello? Director Chen, it's so late, is there something urgent? It's an emergency. If I don't scold you, I won't be able to sleep. I typed this chapter of Fei Chengdu in the hotel today. There may be fewer updates in the past few days, but they will not be discontinued. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Sheng Wu. Chapter 160. 2 or 3 days passed in a flash. Susiena logged into Tencent Comics and looked through the books under the name of Lily Saigeo. She found that the other party had no movement at all, and then looked at the other party's history records. Basically, it was updated monthly, sometimes quarterly, and even once every 6 months. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow Diamond Suit. Diamond Suit. Then Susiena thought of Asada Saori's identity and knew it. As a queen, although the other party has no new songs recently, she must be very busy at ordinary times. Drawing comics is probably just a change of leisure time. Thinking of this, she felt relieved. In the past 2 days, Chen Rui has sent the share contract to Susiena. Of course, in addition to this, he also asked Susiena when she would finish Book of Life and Death. Due to the recent busyness of Miyobi Studio, the update of Book of Life and Death was very slow. As for the new series that was originally planned to be launched in January, Bilibili had to issue an announcement saying that in order to improve the quality of the series, and because the Book of Life and Death was not completed as originally planned, it will be launched in April. Although fans have waited in vain, they are still very understanding. After all, the Book of Life and Death is a series that everyone is looking forward to. If it is not well done and it is released, they will criticize it after watching it. Not only the Book of Life and Death, Tencent Animation's Devil's contract has also been delayed to April. It is not the same reason as Bilibili, but some things are not handled well, such as voice actors. This series, in the eyes of many voice actors, belongs to the Life and Among the Table series, so voice actors are difficult to find. This is the reason why Tencent Animation is laughing and crying, and Susiener curled her lips when she knew about this. It is really unprofessional to be a voice actor who can't even let go of this situation. But thinking that act in this world has just started, it is understandable. After that, Susiener's daily life got back on track. Every day, Lin Jingsha dragged me to class. I played with my phone or slept in class. In winter, I slept on my desk in a cotton-padded jacket, which made the teachers feel helpless. When the winter vacation was approaching, a group of people rioted. Does teacher Miyobi really not care about our lives? If you don't draw the book, I will make trouble. Ah, it's been so long since the last live broadcast. I drew a few pictures in the last live broadcast, but I haven't finished the sister-in-law chapter yet. Teacher Miyobi is too lazy. Every day I get up and refresh the inner area, then sigh and read Book of Life and Death, day after day. 2 chapters in half a year, Teacher Miyobi asks for the address. Suxian series is the first comic work of Susiener's travel through time. Although the fans are not as many as Book of Life and Death and Your Name, which came later, it has the most die-hard fans. In addition to the factor of the book, Suxian series is a pioneering work in the painting style. In the hearts of many people, Suxian series is of extraordinary significance. Fans were naturally quite resentful of Susiener's lack of updates, but considering the previous serialization of Book of Life and Death and Your Name, they didn't say much. As a result, Your Name has now been stopped by Tencent Animation, so is the Susien series going to be updated? After waiting for so many days, they didn't get any news, so they went directly to Susiener's Miyobi Weibo to urge for updates. However, they found that Susiener didn't reply at all. Then they remembered that Susiener had said before that she rarely played Weibo, but only played Taiba and QQ, but they didn't know Susiener's Taiba ID, and QQ Susiener set up very complicated questions, so they could only retreat and go to Shui Jing Jushi's Weibo to make trouble. Although Lin Jingsha didn't ask about this Weibo, she would sometimes log in to see and interact with fans. Today, I logged in and found Susiener's fans making trouble under Weibo. I saw that it had been going on for several days, which made people laugh and cry. When she was about to tell Susiener about this, she received a private message from an administrator of the fan group. Seeing this, Lin Jingshu was stunned, and then ran to the bedroom to find Susiener. What? Someone is using my picture to live broadcast, Susiener said, confused. What do you mean? Lin Jingshu used Susiener's computer to open her QQ, then opened the link to manage private chats and clicked in directly. As soon as she entered the link, it was a live broadcast platform. Susiener saw that it was Douyu. Whether in the past life or now, this live broadcast platform is the largest live broadcast platform in China. After Lin Jingshu clicked on the link, Susiener was stunned and pointed at the screen and said, "Isn't this the Sujug I drew?" Yes. He used your picture as the basis, and then modified the entire screen background, and it became like this. What appeared in the eyes of the two was a mobile game simulator. As for what mobile game it was playing, Susiener and Lin Jingshu were not interested now. Because in the background of the screen, there is a colorful illustration of a pink-haired girl wearing a red cheongsam and holding a festive red lantern. She looks very cute with a happy smile on her face. This is Sujug drawn by Susiener. This was drawn by Susiener at the request of B Station. In order to warm up for Sujug's appearance, and because the Chinese New Year is approaching, Susiener drew a colorful illustration for fans to collect or use as a mobile phone cover, screensaver, etc. Of course, this is definitely not allowed to be used for commercial purposes. As soon as this picture came out, it caused a huge response on Weibo. After all, Susiener only drew a few color pictures. The contract of the Demon King has revealed that those pictures were all drawn by people from Miobi Studio. Seeing that most of the barrage were asking for the color standing picture of Sujug on the screen, Susiener curled her lips. What's this guy's QQ? Let him withdraw. Using her color standing picture for live broadcast is already for commercial use. It is illegal without her authorization. She definitely won't allow it. Looking at the barrage of people asking for pictures, there are also some who also reflect this situation, but this host who doesn't show his face doesn't pay any attention. At this time, Lin Jingshu had already added the other party's fan group, and then added the other party's friend through the fan group. I thought it would take a while for him to respond, but I didn't expect him to add it directly. Seeing this, Susiener first sent the original picture, and then typed, "I am the artist of this picture. You have used this picture for commercial profit without my permission. Please change the screen of your live broadcast room, thank you. You are so funny." A few seconds later, looking at the other party's response, Susiener and Lin Jingshu were stunned for a moment, and then before they spoke, the other party spoke again. "You said this picture is yours? I also said that my senior officials are? Do you believe it? Please don't make fun of me, okay?" Lin Jingshu frowned. This person is so bad. Susiener didn't say anything, and typed quickly, "Then is this picture yours? You just took it out and used it? Did you get the author's consent? Are you sick? Whether I got the author's consent or not is none of your business. You are too nosy, right? And please don't harass me anymore." Seeing this, when Susiener typed again, she found that she had been blocked. Susiener was so angry that she left. Usually she was the one who cheated people, but now someone cheated her. "Jingshu, I want to rub my breasts." "Stop it. I'm angry, I need to rub my breasts to calm down." Discontinued. Not happening. This plot should feel real-time for those who play the game Crash 3. OVO. Is there an update issue? Since I'm not at home now, I may only update once recently. Anyway, I won't stop updating. I'll resume updating after I've dealt with the issue. It will take about 2 or 3 days. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 161. What a psycho. Matcha frowned in disgust. This was not the first time someone had asked him about this issue, but this person was definitely the first to call himself the author. After he purchased this colorful painting on Dobayo, he asked the store to use PS to set up the computer desktop screen. As the Chinese New Year was approaching, the live broadcast was also a festive one. As a result, he just started the live broadcast yesterday, and in the evening, someone came to his live broadcast room and scolded him for stealing pictures. He naturally asked the house manager to ban everyone for such a person who opened his mouth to criticize them. In the end, he just let him go if he had such intention. The house management is closed. After all, he is also a popular anchor on the Do You mobile game channel, with millions of views during the evening peak period, so he has disappeared due to his actions, and every barrage he sees will block everyone. These people are not his fans anyway. As for this picture, he will naturally not take it down. Since he bought it, the copyright belongs to him. So what if the original author comes? He spent money, and if someone else threatens him and withdraws, where will his face go? With this in mind, Matcha continued to broadcast live. After looking at the barrage, it was obvious that it had been processed, but after he finished the broadcast, he had dinner and continued to broadcast. As soon as the broadcast started, dense barrage appeared, and Matcha's face turned dark when he saw it. The barrage was all about scolding him for stealing pictures. Before and after thinking about it, Matcha sneered, "If you want to hype up, please find the right person. Do you really think I will be afraid if you hire a Navy army? Stealing pictures? Sorry, please take it out. Can you get the evidence?" This is really SB, and you're still hyping it up. Teacher Miyobi needs to use you for promotion? Are you living in a dream? It's ridiculous that you are so stubborn in stealing pictures. See you soon. Teacher Miyobi has already criticized you on Weibo. Matcha chuckled and said, which villain is the mastermind? I have never heard of him. If he is very famous, he still needs to hire a navy. I love you MMP. Does the navy have our quality? Anchor, why the hell can't you use Baidu to search for some clever ideas? Are you mentally retarded? Fans were convinced when they saw that the anchor was living in his own little world. However, after being banned by the housing management, many people found that they were banned and could not post comments. However, we all belong to the same fan group, so many people thought of solutions in the group, and finally decided to report in a group. Seeing that the barrage only had a few words to scold him in the blink of an eye, Matcha smiled disdainfully and said, "You're at this level and you still want to use me for hype." Some fans also expressed disdain in the barrage, saying that they can't even produce evidence and yet they come here to hype it up. They are really full and can't bear it. As soon as these words were said, Susianos fans who had not yet closed the web page were so angry that they directly reported it one by one. Some people who played the mobile game Wonderland even went to the game to report it. This guy doesn't seem to be able to get in. Susianer and Lin Jingshu had been paying attention to the trends in the live broadcast room and were speechless when they saw this. Classmate Su, I found someone who sells pictures on Doubao. Lin Jingshu handed the laptop to Susianer, and then said, the seller apologized. When the seller on Doubao saw that the real owner came to the door, he knew that he had been exposed. He was not as mentally retarded as Matcha. Instead, he apologized and then paid compensation. He even said that he would never do such a thing again in the future. Seeing this, Susianer could only forgive the other party. After all, it is better to do less than to do more on the internet. And she found a new toy, this Matcha, so naturally she wanted to play with it. Thinking of Susianer, she logged into Weibo again and read the comments. Teacher Miyobi, as long as you draw a notebook, we will help you sanction that anchor. The magic weapon of destiny is already in place. Teacher Miyobi, as long as you promise to draw a notebook, we will organize the explosion of that anchor. Watch the show without drawing the notebook. Teacher Miyobi, you can't be biased. You painted Book of Life and Death and then your name. Where is Susien series? I asked why there are so few people. It turns out they are all watching a show, Susiener said angrily. Although the barrage just now was dense, there were indeed fewer people. At any rate, the Weibo Miyobi now has more than 40 million views and they are very active. As a result, someone blew up a live broadcast room and was immediately sanctioned. Thinking about it, Susiener posted another Weibo post. As long as you help me punish the anchor who stole the pictures, I will draw a book, and this time it is a very, very, very exciting book. Susiener finished typing, then copied the live broadcast link of Matcha, and then posted it directly on Weibo. As soon as the shot was finished, Susiener entered the movie watching mode. As a person who is afraid of chaos, Susiener's favorite thing is to stir up troubles on the internet. Of course, she also has a bottom line and will naturally not do anything illegal. However, this Matcha anchor is simply a retard and must be pulled out for fun. Brothers, something has happened. As soon as Susiener's Weibo was posted, people from the Princess Knights, the Miyobi Teacher Guardian Association, and the Shuabai Teacher Guardian Association began to organize themselves spontaneously. As fans of Susiener, they were naturally very angry about this matter, but, who told Susiener that she had ignored Susiener series for so long, and when they got the promise this time, they screamed with excitement. Nothing to say. Those who play Wonderland Heroes can report directly on their accounts, and I just checked that the official blog and official forum of Wonderland Heroes seem to listen to the opinions of players. You can post on Weibo and Taibo to react, and you must also report. By the way, don't do things like bombing the forum, so as not to offend people. Since we want to punish the other party, we must stand on the moral high ground. Damn, are you ready so early, leader? Nonsense, even if Miobi teacher doesn't draw a book, we are her fans, and we must get back for Miobi teacher. It hurts my heart, my friend. Okay, hurry up and do it. It's best to make that tea surrender in one day. I can't wait to see the book. Miobi teacher is too lazy. That's right, we will have books to read after this vote. All the Princess Knights, Miobi Teachers Protection Association and Shuabai Teachers Protection Association have a large number of subgroups, especially the Princess Knights, which can be said to have the most subgroups. The group owners of the subgroups discussed this matter in one group, so once it was confirmed, this huge fan machine started to work. Susiener didn't know how many fans she had in the past 6 months. The number of followers on Weibo was actually far from her real number of fans. There were many fans who didn't use Weibo, but they supported her in the QQ group. And when this force gathered, in just a few minutes, Matcha, who was broadcasting live, saw that his live broadcast room was already filled with dense barrages. This time, the dense barrage was different from the last time. The game he was broadcasting could not be seen in the entire live broadcast room. So when Matcha and his fans saw this scene, they were a little confused. When Matcha saw this scene, he reacted quickly and his face was extremely dark. Is that idiot pen going to stop? It's not over yet, right? Just when Matcha asked the room management to ban it, a large number of users reported and alarmed you. This chapter is yesterday's OVO. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Sheng Wu. Chapter 162. Manager Lin, this anchor has been reported by many people. Should we close his live broadcast room? In Lin Feng's office, a staff member hurried over to report the work. Google searched Can. Looking at the other party's frightened face, Lin Feng asked curiously, "What's wrong?" Basically, each live broadcast room is held dozens or hundreds of times on average every day. Unless it is pornographic, don't bother with it. Douyu is a big company with a live broadcast platform that is well known throughout the country. Although some other live broadcast platforms have come later, now when people in China talk about live broadcast platforms, the first thing that comes to mind is Douyu. This is the current strength of Douyu's live broadcast platform, and Douyu is the saying that a tall tree attracts the wind. Other live broadcast platforms wish that Douyu would go bankrupt the next moment, so some despicable means naturally increased, such as reporting, bribing other female anchors to expose themselves on Douyu's live broadcast, even doing that live broadcast. For a while, the reputation of Douyu platform was very bad and infamous. Douyu, which had become alert, was very strict at the time. It was not until the major live broadcast platforms were on par with each other and Douyu's control became stricter that it stabilized. However, there are reports every day, but this is normal. Anyway, there are all kinds of viewers now. Of course, those female anchors must be paid special attention to, for fear that another pornographic content will be involved, which will be another blow to Douyu's reputation. Manager Lin, there are a lot of reports, the staff said hesitantly, and seeing Lin Feng's curiosity, he said, there are hundreds of thousands of people. Puff. What? Hundreds of thousands of people, Lin Feng screamed. It is well known that Douyu's live broadcast popularity is watered, and those live broadcasts with millions of popularity are actually only hundreds of thousands. Now hundreds of thousands of people report a live broadcast room. What the hell is this? Thinking of this, Lin Feng looked at the staff sternly and said, then why are you reporting to me? Hurry up and close the live broadcast room first. After saying that, he reacted, is it a water army? No, a small part of them are permanent accounts, and most of them are newly registered accounts. It seems that it should be a water army, but just in case, let's close the live broadcast room first. But, that person is your nephew. Lin Feng was stunned, and then asked, Matcha. The staff nodded helplessly. If it was a normal report of hundreds of thousands, whether it was a water army or not, he would definitely close the live broadcast room first. But the Matcha anchor of the mobile game channel is the nephew of the supervisor in front of him, so he must report it first. Wait a minute. Lin Feng picked up the phone with a serious face and then made a call. Hello, uncle. Ren Hao, have you offended anyone recently? No. By the way, uncle, I was just about to tell you that someone maliciously hired a group of internet users to smear my live broadcast room. Do you care about this matter? That's what I want to talk about. Think about whether you have offended anyone recently. Listening to Lin Feng's solemn tone, Matcha said disdainfully, there is one, that is the background picture of my live broadcast room. Some people say that I stole the picture, but I bought it. The copyright is in my hands. How could I steal the picture? This is unfounded. Are you sure? Of course I am sure. I bought it myself and the copyright is all mine. Okay, you continue to live broadcast, and don't worry about other things. Lin Feng's mood eased after hearing this, and then he looked at the staff and said, okay, don't worry about this matter. Okay, Manager Lin. When the staff went out, Lin Feng logged into his Douyu account and used the identity of a super administrator to set a speech restriction for Matcha's live broadcast room. In a moment, the barrage of comments was dense, and in the blink of an eye, there were only a few. According to Lin Feng's idea, it would be fine in a day or two. After doing all this, he sent a message to Matcha, and Lin Feng didn't care about it. His nephew is also a popular anchor with millions of fans, so it is certain that he offended people unintentionally. When the speech was restricted, Susieno's fans immediately found out and discussed it in the group. It's just that the speech was restricted, and they had no choice. After all, not only they couldn't speak, but even Matcha's fans couldn't speak. What should we do? No hurry, this idiot anchor has millions of fans after all, and he can probably talk to Douyu super administrator, so let's wait and see. By the way, how is the situation on Taiba? The post was deleted. Someone in our group said that Matcha is the official agent of Wonderland Heroes, so he doesn't care about us at all. It was deleted less than a minute after I posted it just now. As I said, let's explode it. Some cyber violence, you have to use force to deal with such people. Slow down first. Look at that guy's live broadcast room. When this message appeared, everyone clicked into Matcha's live broadcast room with curiosity. When they saw it, a chest tightness and anger burst out directly. Originally, Matcha used Sujug's picture as the screen background, and wrote a few auspicious words next to it, and the whole screen background was very festive. However, now Matcha used PS software to Photoshop a picture of yellow shit on Sujug's head. Although it is also a cartoon picture and does not look disgusting, this kind of insult is unbearable even for ordinary people, let alone Susieno's fans. Everyone who saw the scene was furious. Him. This stupid beast. It's really awesome. It's an insult to all the original creators. Fans went crazy when they saw this scene. Countless people in the group were furious, and it was obvious that Matcha's practice had touched their bottom line. Since the barrage was restricted, Matcha didn't know how Susieno's fans were feeling, but he could imagine the angry faces of these people, and couldn't help but dismissively said, everyone who draws, just draw well paintings, you still copy others' hype, and falsely accuse me of stealing pictures. I can use the pictures I buy however I want, the copyright belongs to me. Even if you sue me, I will win. It's not that I look down on you. I only bought this picture for 20 yuan, I wouldn't buy it for more, that painting is probably only worth a few yuan. Hearing this, All Susiener's fans' faces turned red and their whole bodies exploded. What the hell, who just suggested blowing up the bar? In the evening, they organized a wave to blow up the Wonderland Post bar, and this shameful live broadcast platform is still covering up for this kind of thing. Since the other party wants to cover up, we also exploded in other live broadcast rooms. Shit. I don't believe we can't crowd out one live broadcast room with millions of fans. By the way, there is also Weibo. Since this bad guy wants to be popular, we will make it popular. Let's go to other mobile game forums and Weibo to publicize this matter. We must make it popular and see who is making the hype. How did this guy's IQ lead him to become a million popular anchor? Hey, is this a giant baby? Isn't this a giant baby? Your brain is not yet enlightened. Originally, the fans just wanted to bring Susiener back, and as long as Matcha removed the picture and apologized, it would be over. However, Matcha relied on her uncle's protection and was desperate to save face to return the photos. Clay figurines have 3 points of fire, not to mention that this is when the idol is approaching the new year, and he draws a festive picture to share with his fans, but Matcha does this kind of thing. In an instant, the two parties started to fight to the death. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Sheng Wu. Chapter 163. Susiener is furious now. She originally just wanted to watch the show, because the other party seemed to be very funny. After all, it is rare to steal pictures so confidently. So for any remarks and actions made by the other party afterwards, Susiener said that of course she would forgive him. But, the other party photoshopped a bunch of shit on the painting she had worked so hard to draw. Susiener felt extremely insulted, and Lin Jingshu, who was next to her, was so angry that she trembled all over when she saw this scene. Why is this person like this? This matter seemed very simple to Lin Jingshu. Dobeo had apologized and compensated and even closed the store. This was online, and according to Susiener's temperament, she probably didn't bother to pursue it. As long as this matcher removed the picture, the matter would be over, but the other party was very stubborn and even thought that the painting he bought had copyright. From the perspective of Lin Jingshu, who was only 17 years old, he was completely ignorant of the law. Dobeo itself also stole pictures to sell, infringing on Susiener's own interests, so how could there be any copyright? Even in Lin Jingshu's opinion, Susiener is so easy to talk to. As long as Matcha apologizes and then talks to Susiener in private, it is not impossible to use this picture in the live broadcast. As a result, he spoke to the other party in a nice voice and blocked Susiener. Not only blocked, but also slandered Susiener for hype. Now he is angry again after being reported by fans? It's simply unreasonable. The other party didn't even verify the authenticity. What should we do with classmate Su? Why don't we just find a lawyer? In Lin Jingshu's opinion, the other party has violated the law. Even if the other party seemed to be the victim before, it can't be cleared now. It's so troublesome to find a lawyer. Although Susiener was angry, she shrank when she heard that she had to find a lawyer. She is usually lazy. If she has a lawsuit, does she have to go to court? She just wants to stay at home to eat, drink and have fun, and doesn't want to run around. Are you going to look for him? Seeing that Lin Jingshu seemed to be really angry, with her face tense, Susiener hurriedly said, "Look for him, I'll consult him." "That's good," Lin Jingshu snorted. How could such a thing be delayed? Moreover, if they didn't protect their own interests, there would be more and more people like Matcha. However, what the two didn't know was that when they started to contact lawyers online, this matter had already become a hot topic online. Nowadays, the internet spreads very quickly. especially for such incidents that make people feel the same hatred for the enemy. Many mobile game forums were very angry when they learned about this situation. It was simply disgusting to have such a scum in the mobile game industry, especially when the other party was a big anchor. As a public figure, he was actually a legal illiterate. Some people didn't have a good impression of the live broadcast industry, and now they even despised the quality of the live broadcast industry. Not only that, Match's words were also recorded and posted on the internet, especially the remarks that disdained Myobi, which made people in the comics industry furious. Originally, this matter was known to only a small group of people. It is estimated that only fans of both sides and people who play Wonderland Heroes know about the situation. As a result, Match's inappropriate remarks, coupled with the spread of Susiener's fans, made it known to everyone. I don't know who gave this anchor the confidence. The colorful portrait named Sujug wishes everyone a happy new year by Myobi Teacher is the intention of Myobi Teacher to convey to fans through the draft. Now, a giant baby has slandered Myobi, a new star in the comics industry, with a few words. If Myobi Teacher only charges dozens of UN for a draft, then we painters and even cartoonists have to pay money to the website for our drafts. Now anyone can be an anchor. If there is a quality survey for each industry this year, it is estimated that the quality of the anchor industry is the worst. In the past, there were live broadcasts of doing that, stripping, and other pornographic things. Now $1 million anchor is illiterate. If the live broadcast industry does not improve its overall quality, the industry will be doomed. After understanding the reason, cartoonists on Weibo directly sprayed on Weibo. The comics industry is not well known, and the circle was also very small in the past. But even so, when cartoonists made comments on Weibo, this matter gradually became known to everyone. As the pioneer of the comics style, Susiener has an unparalleled status in their hearts, and some well-known cartoonists have met each other at the annual meeting. In their opinion, they have a relationship after meeting each other, not to mention that they have Susiener's autograph in their hands. Now that the other party is in this situation, they naturally have to support Susiener. And if we say who is the most angry, it must be Bilibili. Chen Rui was furious when he learned about this. Sujug is an extremely important IP of Bilibili. In March, Saori Asada's concert will be held. They ask Susiener to draw it, which is actually a warm-up, and it is also a festive occasion during the Chinese New Year. Now he has been insulted by this matcha. This will be Sujug's black spot and black history in the future. Every idol will have black fans, even virtual idols are no exception. What if those black fans take this picture and spread it when they are full and have nothing to do in the future? Thinking of this, Chen Rui immediately asked the official Weibo account of Bilibili to issue an announcement. Myobi, as one of the major shareholders of Station B, has been working hard for Station B, but now he has suffered such an insult. Even if Myobi forgives the anchor matcha, the legal department of Station B will take him to court. Please don't make mistakes. The internet is not a hiding place for illegal activities, nor is it a reason for you to slander a famous painter at will, nor is it an umbrella for you to be unscrupulous after infringing on others' rights. Just after Station B posted a Weibo, Tencent Animation also posted a Weibo with roughly the same meaning. In an instant, in less than 2 or 3 hours, matcha became popular. Many people ran to the other party's live broadcast room out of curiosity and found that the other party was still live broadcasting safely. It was amazing that the other party had a big heart. In addition, they could only watch helplessly because their speech was restricted. At this time, Asada Saori, who was far away in Yanjing, had just returned home and received a call from her assistant. What, the little guy got into trouble again. Since it was impossible for her to keep an eye on the internet, Asada Saori asked her assistant to help pay attention to Susiener, and to notify her as soon as there was any news about her. So as soon as this happened, Asada Saori received the news. After logging into Weibo and asking in the fan group, many fans explained it to her one by one. Shuabai's Sakura wants to see you has attracted countless fans, and coupled with Asada Sayori's previous praise, they also like Susienner very much, but there has been no new songs, so it has gradually faded. But when something like this happened, they naturally learned about it quickly on the internet. After learning about the situation, Asada Sayori frowned, and then logged into Weibo and typed, "The Lantern Festival live broadcast on the Douyu platform will be cancelled from now on. Regarding my breach of contract, the penalty will be transferred to the Douyu financial account within 1 day. By the way, I will not fill the pit of the female-oriented book dug in the previous article, and let this pit disappear in the gap of time. And I will not accept any suggestions for novels in the future, whether good or bad. Finally, I have adjusted my mentality and revived with full health and full status. OVO. Please vote for recommendation. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Sheng Wu. Chapter 164. Chapter 162, the artist used his wonderful picture to insult and threaten the person. Matcha is a hero in the live broadcast industry. As soon as Asada Sayori's Weibo post was posted, Douyu senior management received the news instantly. What happened? I need an explanation. Live broadcasting is an emerging industry, an industry that has risen in recent years. It has developed rapidly in recent years. Therefore, in an era when everyone can be an anchor, the quality of anchors varies, which the live broadcast platform cannot control. But they must strive to develop this industry, and Douyu learned that Sayori Asada was going to hold a concert tour in 10 cities, so she had the idea to invite Sayori Asada to live broadcast to warm up. Sayori Asada is also curious about the rise of live broadcast platforms. In addition, the current live broadcast platforms are closer to the audience. In her opinion, it is necessary to interact with fans. So, she agreed. As a result, just a few days before the agreement was made, the contract was signed, and Sayori Asada regretted it, which made Douyu live passive in an instant. The call instantly reached Asada Sayori's assistant, but the other party just said coldly, "You know better." After that, he hung up the phone. This confused Douyu live, but they quickly understood the situation. There are no secrets on the internet now, and they immediately understood what happened yesterday. And the more you understand, the more angry you become. After hundreds of thousands of people reported yesterday, this live broadcast room is still safe? Tell me what's going on. In the conference room, a middle-aged man slapped the table hard and became angry. That's right, Director Li, yesterday we tested it and thought it was a cyberspace activity, so we left it alone. Navy Army. Then the technical staff just told me that although there are a large number of newly registered accounts, there are a small number of people who are permanent members. How do you explain this? Dong Li said coldly. The person who explained was dripping with cold sweat and did not dare to speak anymore. That Matcha is the nephew of director Lin Feng, so he was suppressed. Someone whispered, and upon hearing this, Dong Li's eyes narrowed, and he didn't care who said it, and said in a cold tone, "Is Director Lin here?" He's. Lin Feng's intestines were filled with regret at this moment. He was so worried about Matcha that he had torn the opponent's heart out alive. Yesterday, Matcha told him that he bought the vertical painting and had the copyright, so he felt at ease. As long as the copyright is in hand, no matter how many people are behind the scenes, no matter how big the fuss is, they will win in the end. As a result, now that Weibo has learned about the situation, it turns out that the copyright it holds is entirely because Dobeo was the first to steal the picture and sell it to the other party. Then Matcha felt that he had bought the copyright of the picture, and he became unscrupulous. Now it's too late for Lin Feng to regret. Without waiting for Dong Li to speak, he admitted his mistake and said, "I'm sorry, this is my fault. I won't make much excuse for Dong Li, please give me a chance. If I can't persuade Miss Asada to continue, if I go back to Do You Live, I will take the blame and resign. After hearing this, Dong Li closed his eyes and pondered for a moment, knowing that it would be useless to talk more now. The top priority was to appease Asada Sayori and the current public opinion on the internet. I'll give you 1 day. If this matter is not settled by this time tomorrow, you must be responsible for the loss, Dong Li said coldly and pushed out the door. Seeing this, Lin Feng breathed a sigh of relief. After the meeting dispersed, he returned to the office with a series of pitiful eyes. Ren Hao, what the hell is going on? Lin Feng exploded as soon as he returned to the office. He was tricked by this nephew. He trusted him so much, but in 1 day, he was rewarded with this kind of mess. Matcha was confused when she received the call. What's wrong, uncle? What's wrong? Go check the internet for yourself. I'll give you half an hour to understand the situation, then apologize on Weibo, post an apology, publicly apologize in the live broadcast room, and finally get out of Do You. Lin Feng was afraid of being cheated this time. If he let the other party fight in Do You, he would probably have to take the blame for whatever happened in the future. He finally realized that his nephew was completely illiterate, and even if he wanted to stay, Dong Li probably wouldn't keep Matcha in Do You. In other words, Matcha has become popular now, but it is the kind of thing that is despised. Fire. Even a trivial matter can cause the other party to turn upside down. Which live streaming platform dares to accommodate the other party? In just 1 day, I insulted the artist, sprayed my pen, and made photos with photos. This made Lin Feng almost angry to death. He didn't recognize Miyobi before, but now he found out that the other party also had a water pen, and he knew that the other party's Sakura Sakura Wants to See You was still in the song list of his mobile phone. The other party is loved by Asada Sayori, and now Asada Sayori posts on Weibo just to stand up for Susienur. Moreover, Sayori Asada posted on Weibo without even mentioning the reason. After some celebrities spontaneously learned about the situation, they began to criticize Matcha, and they also brought Do You with them, which almost made the entire internet aware of the incident. This is also normal. It has been a day, and tens of millions of people have reported it. Do You has not blocked the live broadcast room yet. Who would believe it if there is no ghost? So after the phone call with Matcha, Lin Feng directly blocked the other party's live broadcast room. Later, Do You also bluntly issued an announcement saying that the management was negligent, which led to major mistakes. Do You reviewed itself and also gave strong punishment to the Matcha anchor. Condemn. Of course, if the Matcha anchor wants to apologize, Do You can provide a platform, but after the apology, Matcha will never be hired. Finally, the audience was asked to supervise. As soon as Do You issued the announcement, Susienur's fans were overjoyed because they won. Then the official Weibo and forum of Wonderland Heroes also issued an apology announcement. In addition to the pressure from players, Miyobi Studio no longer accepts their orders. As a mobile game, exquisite graphics are the main thing, and after several months of development, the original paintings and character paintings of Miyobi Studio have become extremely large in business. Many game companies have approached Miyobi Studio. Wonderland Heroes is no exception. As a result, Miyobi Studio directly refused to accept orders because of this incident, which made the people of Wonderland Heroes very passive. In addition, the fermentation of the matcha incident made them realize that matcha was probably doomed, so they admitted their mistakes very straightforwardly. Of course, the main reason was the explosion organized by Susienur's fans last night. When the knights go to war, no grass will grow. This slogan has been hanging on the homepage, densely packed. Even if the bar owner restricts the level, it still can't be stopped, and black technology directly sanctions it. This moment made many people secretly shocked by the cohesion of Susienur's fans. However, When everyone was paying attention to Matcha's Weibo and waiting for the other party to apologize, less than a moment later, Matcha updated his Weibo. At Miobi, I heard that you are in Shanghai. Be careful when you go out. Many readers probably think that Matcha is very mentally retarded, and it is right to have such a feeling. Because this incident is slightly adapted from the Mangaka stealing picture incident, you can Baidu it, so it's not that I lower the IQ of the supporting role, but the world is so big that there are all kinds of strange things. Tomorrow I will end this plot. Finally, please vote for recommendation OVO.